Many thanks for staying with us, everyone. Let's give you some updates on the breaking news that we're following for you and the incident in Lagos here. You can see there on your screen. Earlier today, a fire outbreak along the Otedola Bridge axis of Berger in Lagos State after a fuel-laden tanker exploded. China's television gathered that about 50 vehicles or more have been confirmed burnt as firefighters continue to put out the fire. Eyewitnesses told Channel Television that the fire broke out after a commercial bus lost control and hit the tanker, which now sparked and caused the fire. The tanker was, however, said to have been parked by the roadside. Of course, emergency service officials are already on the ground, put out the fire already, and we're told that the rescue operations are commenced. We do not have the details of the casualties or the details of what may have gone down, but the sketches and the little information that we have is what we can tell you right now. Some of the images that we have for you there on that very tragic incident that happened in the commercial capital of Nigeria. We'll bring you updates and more details on that as we get them. Let's move into a larger security situation in Nigeria, where Amnesty International is accusing the Nigerian government of encouraging the impunity, fueling the increase in insecurity in the country. They said their independently verified figures indicate that at least 1,813 persons have been murdered across 17 states, which is double the 894 people killed in the entire year of 2017. The rights group explains that the killings are usually the result of the farmers-herders conflict, Boko Haram attacks, and armed banditry. Let's see what all this means altogether. The Amnesty International report there for you. Joining us from our Abuja studio is a security analyst, Ayo Akombi, and from Abuja is Mr. Daniel Buala, a regular analyst on the program. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time on the program. Let me quickly ask you, Mr. Ayo Akombi, with what situation that we have on our hands right now, it does look like we have an increasing rate of killings and deaths in 2018. What perhaps could be the cause?
Thank you very much, for having me. I think we're having, like you rightly said, we're having different flashpoints across the country. But some of them are actually the carryover of Boko Haram. The Operation Lafia Dole, Operation Strong Last Hold is still ongoing, and then they're trying to clear the remnants of these terrorists from the fringes of the Chad Basin and Sambisa Forest. Now we're having the communal crisis between from Benue to Taraba. Now recently we're seeing what's happening in Plateau State. So a lot of issues are coming up. And then we're also, to be very realistic, we're also looking at seeing how the politicians are also trying to buy into this. They're trying to make this a capital flight for themselves, to see how they can make the country governable a little bit for some who are there, for them to advance themselves and their personality. So we have different, like a cocktail, but it will continue up, and then I believe the government is trying to do all it can to see how it can restore order and sanity for the benefit of all Nigerians.
Mr. Buala, okay, Mr. Akambi, I'll come back to you now. The concerns of a lot of people is perhaps some of the reports on the handling of these people. Some people are already saying the security chiefs need to be rejigged. Do you think so?
Well, I think that's at the behest of the president. He's the commander-in-chief, and he appointed them. At a time when he thinks their services are no longer needed, he will do the rightful thing by rejigging the service chiefs. But for now, they are still operational, and their results, their efforts are bringing in the right results. At least stability has been able to be restored in Plateau State. Some arrests have been made from the culprit, and they are giving out necessary information that's needed to be used in fishing out the remnants of these bandits and seeing how peace can be restored in Plateau State. So I think for anything beyond that, we leave that to the discretion of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
Mr. Buala, sacking security chiefs or rejigging the security architecture or whatever language we may use is a possible solution to the problem?
Well, thank you for having me. There are quite multiplicity of problems surrounding this security. And since the president, in his own words, said he's going to consider rejigging it, maybe that is his wisdom. But if you ask for my opinion, I think that what the president should do is to convene a security meeting in all the trouble spots, probably a region, and have the governors, the traditional heads, the religious leaders, the community heads, the representative of the farmers and the herders into a room like a hall. I think President Jonathan, sometimes President Obasanjo, had tried that during the days of the Niger Delta crisis when our pipelines were being bombed. He called for this kind of summit where the people will raise issues of concern and he will ask the governor to respond to it, or he will ask the oil company concerned to respond to it. So because this is a healing process, if the president conveyed that, it will make more sense and we'll be able to achieve more than president receiving security briefings bit by here, bit from here, and bit from here. And then it's just processing. Because, you see, our military, oftentimes, and the police, they respond to this attack after the fact. But in counterintelligence, you are able to know ahead of time what the plans are, whether of the bandits or the herders or the community people, bandits, whichever the set of people are.
Well, it's such a horrible connections there. The network is giving us. Sorry for the bad quality of audio that we're getting from that connection. Well, let me quickly go to Abuja studio. Mr. Akombi, as it stands right now, the situation, the question on the question of how proactive the government should be in this situation, especially stopping it before it happens. That's a big question a lot of people are asking. That this has been happening over the years, this conflict between the herders and the farmers. What would you suggest as a possible permanent solution to this?
Well, I think you agree with me, Sean, that in the last couple of 2 to 3 years now, Plateau has been relatively very calm. And then we have over 1,000 police officers who are under the auspices of Operation Safe Haven. This happened very swiftly, and I think to answer your question, we need to have like a permanent division or units of these different security agencies to have their personnel right there in this spotlight, in this flashpoint. The Air Force has a unit like that there. The police is going to have one more, and then there has to be a cohesion between all of them. But I think under the Operation Safe Havens, that's been done already. Probably they just need to mobilize more personnel to join the operations, and then still they can also liaise with stakeholders in the community because they are also a very critical people in this matter. They have the intelligence to share with the security outfit, which can help neutralize the attacks or the intention of this bandits trying to disturb the peace of the public. But I think aside that also, we've seen what's been happening in Benue. Benue has been relatively very calm right now because of this same mechanism has been institutionalized there, and that's bringing out the right results. So we expect that they should look at what's happening also in Plateau and station a permanent force there, and also see how they can also upgrade the operations of Operation Safe Haven to see how they can work more with traditional institutions and then the community of these affected places.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yakombi, and also Mr. Daniel Bwala. Unfortunately, we're not able to hear as much from him because of the bad quality.